Batman, and he's back because he never left. Where did he go? Nowhere! It's Batman! Oh no! Time to ice and dice.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about because this is the only news that matters, and that's good news. Kicking things off with some movie news, Sony have just dropped their trailer for Venom: The Last Dance, and
no! God, please, no! No!
oh my goodness, it seems like more of the same from the first two movies, and unfortunately that's not a great thing, in my opinion. And I think possibly the opinion of a lot of people. Maybe not everyone. I'm sure there are a lot of fans there. But honestly, I think most of the ticket sales from the first two movies were based on the back of it being Venom, not based on people watching the first movie and going, oh, this was a great movie, I can't wait to see the next one. It's just, I want to see Venom on the big screen. Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, chicken and rice. But you're not going to get me a third time. I'm not going to pay money to see this. I had a very disappointing time with the first Venom movie.
I'm very disappointed.
I had a miserable time with the second one.
This is the worst.
And this third one looks like Sony are just doubling down on every bad element that they made in the first two movies. More of the same. More of twitchy, sweaty Eddie Brock. More of just the really irritating Venom voice. I don't need to hear that ever again. In fact, guys, I'm sorry for abusing your eardrums with that voice there. I just don't understand any of the acting choices. And this is coming from Tom Hardy, who I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy. Bronson, The Craze, all of his modern stuff, Warrior, Mad Max, oh my goodness, The Dark Knight Rises. I'm a big Bane apologist. I think Tom Hardy's a boss, but man, the choices he made for Venom, not so much. So we're gonna get this third movie, and it's incorporating some of the Spider-Verse lore as well, because we see the piece of the symbiote that was left in the end of No Way Home in the MCU, but now it's in the Sonyverse, and it's being picked up by the actor who played Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange, but he's playing someone completely different in the Sonyverse.
Explain that to me! Explain it to me, God! Explain it to me, God! I want it explained to me now, Jesus!
And this raises a whole lot of questions, the main one being, who cares? I'm not going to dedicate any more headspace. I'm not going to spend more time thinking about this movie than the people who made it did, which is probably about 2 nanoseconds. So you know what? This movie's going to hit theaters. I'm sure it'll probably still do all right because it's Venom and people love Venom. But this is a franchise that has got by on the name of the character alone. And man, it's a little bit heartbreaking to think of what this could have been. Especially with Tom Hardy. When he was announced as Eddie Brock, I thought, oh man, that is a bold choice, I dig it. And then we see his acting choices and the direction, and I think, I wouldn't have gone with that, personally. So yeah, this trailer didn't do too much for me. Venom Horse is kind of fun, but certainly not worth going to the cinema for me personally. Maybe even not worth catching on streaming. I don't know, I'm always looking to be surprised, but in this case, I think it might be more of the same.
G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Hasbro just recently had their G.I. Joe stream and they revealed some very cool looking G.I. Joe characters. I mean, they always look cool. I don't think I've ever seen a reveal where I've been like, that's a dud. So we've got Alpine, who comes with all of the accessories you would expect for a mountain climbing dude. He looks super cool. We've got another Storm Shadow in his similarly kind of outdoors themed sort of gear. Again, looks super pretty. These are all up for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse right now as well. But the two that I really love the look of are the Iron Grenadiers range. So you've got this human style Iron Grenadier with his just armor. Just looks wicked. Reminds me of Killzone. Like really, really cool, badass sort of, you wouldn't want to see this dude coming at you on the battlefield sort of look. And then in the similar line, you've got the Bat. This is probably what, the 4th version of the Bat that we've got now? But honestly, when all of the repaints and redos of this character look as cool as they do, I'd be fine with that. But again, that's why I don't collect G.I. Joe, because you couldn't get just one. you'd want to get at least 2 or 3 or 4. You just want to army build every single character. That's a dangerous slippery slope. And this robot with the gold plating and all those accessories just looks so cool. So Hasbro team kind of killing it with their G.I. Joes. And yeah, you guys who collect these action figures, you're eating real well. Very dusty roads there. Y'all eating real well right now, daddy.
Your entrance was good. His was better.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? Well, certainly not Todd McFarlane. He surrounds himself with Batmen all the time, and he seems only too happy to add more of them. In this case, we have full reveal images of his Batman Forever wave. We had a little few sneak peeks here and there. Now you can wet your beak in all of these figures, and dang it, they all look real good. You know, I know I love ragging on McFarlane, but these look terrific. I think the Tommy Lee Jones likeness, the Jim Carrey likeness, that's them. There they are. They've captured them brilliantly. And then the big crazy bat Build-A-Figure, that's really cool. If you wanted to, you could throw that into your collection as a man bat, I guess, if you didn't already have the big McFarlane mega figure, which is also a really cool Batman figure. Look at me dishing out all the praise to McFarlane here. So yeah, this just reminds me how fun and wacky some of these designs were. Batman Forever, massively flawed movie. Although I've got to admit, when I saw it in the cinema, when I was like 13 years old, I thought it was the greatest movie I'd ever seen. So they made a great movie for the intended audience. And now, 25 years later, whew, that intended audience has all grown up with disposable income, and I bet a lot of people are going to want to spend it on these.
Now you're the world's ultimate detective, Batman. You find the clue and evil's through. The Mad Hatter and his robotic rabbit are on the loose as Detective Batman and crime solver Nightwing use incredible crime solver lens technology to track them down.
And McFarlane's not done with Batman. They've also released full image reveals of their Batman the Animated Series Wave 2 figures. So of course these are not the classic animated series looks. This is from when they redid and rejigged and zhuzhed everything and honestly pretty much made everything look worse. Still bugs me to this day. I should probably let it go after 30 years, but you know what? I keep being reminded because they've made some action figures of them. But, you know, it's not Todd McFarlane's fault how they were designed and what he actually has done with his team. I mean, I know it's not just him there sculpting away himself. They've made great looking action figures if you like those designs. They're certainly faithful. That's what I was trying to say. So these are going to be $25 each. And yeah, if you don't mind being reminded of the downturn of the Batman show, then you might want these guys on your shelf. Neca have shown off their San Diego Comic-Con camo reveal Predator from the movie Prey, and this looks so wicked. I loved that moment in the movie where he rips the bear open and just the blood splatters all over him, revealing the Predator. This isn't actually that scene, having said that. Nonetheless though, that was a badass scene. But this is a similar kind of half translucent, half colored, just coming out of hiding type Predator look. It's just a basic repaint, but it's a very pretty repaint. So this is available for pre-order on the Neca online store during Comic-Con. And yeah, if you're a Predator completionist, or even if you don't have one yet and you just want something that looks badass on your shelf, yeah, this dude's gonna foot the bill. And now a quick shout out to this episode's sponsor, Legendsverse.com. This is a brand new Marvel Legends curation website that honestly, I think it's got all the tools that every new Marvel Legends fan needs and every old Marvel Legends fan needs. But not just that, they also have sections for other action figure lines such as G.I. Joe, Mafex, and a whole bunch of other ones as well. Now there are a few different action figure cataloging sites out there. One thing that I really like about this one is that not only do they have comprehensive articles for each figure that's been released throughout the years, but also they've got different sections where you can make and curate your own teams. It helps you categorize and coordinate what figures you still need, which ones you're expecting, and which ones you've ordered for each different subline and group. Because there's also kind of a gallery section where you can post pictures of your displays and whatnot. It's a really fun setup. So I highly recommend, if you're collecting your Marvel Legends or any other lines and you want help curating you're displaying your collection, keeping track of everything, including your pre-orders as well. That's a nice thing. You got this different pre-order section where you can click a drop-down menu and select where you've pre-ordered it from, whether or not you've paid, when you're expecting it. For someone as scatterbrained as me, that's a real big bonus right there. So yeah, go and check out legendsverse.com. The link is going to be in the description below. And if you're just using the free service, then you get all that good stuff right there. And if you love what they're doing, then you can pay a little one-off fee and then you can get all the extra features as well. I'm very selective as to who I kind of do sponsorship things with, because I don't want to be putting the Model Behavior brand next to something that I'm not confident with. But after talking to the gentleman who runs this website, really good guy, dude, shout out to you, and actually playing around with what you do there, I thought, you know what? Yeah, this gets the boom seal of Model Behavior. So Legends collectors, go check this site out.
Here comes a new challenger!
Nameless.
Storm have revealed their Nameless figure from King of Fighters, and I don't know the King of Fighters characters. You could see with my previous Final Fight report, I don't really know the Final Fight characters either. But I do know Storm Collectibles, and generally, they do make good action figures. Not all the time, though. Their Mortal Kombat line was kind of hit and miss. But I think that the King of Fighters figures, they all look very cool, and this is another one. So he's going to be available at the price of, well, just less than $100, about $98, give or take. So your standard Storm Collectibles fare. And he should be coming out, hang on, let me check. Yeah, he should be coming out. Actually, I didn't have that written down. But knowing Storm, if we've just had these reveals, then it's probably going to be about a year until you can actually have him in hand. So don't start dusting off the shelf space yet.
Action Man.
And his transport command. Tough, realistic models specially designed for Action Man.
Valorverse, you you beautiful sons of guns. They've just shown off their Series 5 Action Force figures, and one in particular, this Praetorian figure. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of cool figures from this whole Action Force line. The Scarab is still one of my favorites, but this mean-looking cyborg-style warrior, I mean, I'm sure it's just meant to be a person in armor, but it looks like a badass robot drone kind of thing. That just looks so cool. But all of them in this line, they all look phenomenal. This is another one of those lines that for me isn't so much on my radar because I've sort of stepped away from the G.I. Joe sort of type of characters. But then every single time I see these, I'm like, ah, man, they do look really, really amazing. Series 5 looks like your best work yet, gentlemen. This looks awesome. So yeah, if you're a Valorverse fan, then with all the vehicles they're doing and these new characters as well, absolutely amazing. You got to be thrilled. You got to be worried about any financial decisions you might have to make. But you know what? If you're spending your money on these, I think you're making the right choice. Because every time I see pictures, I just think, yeah, these are amazing. A couple of bits of Lego news now. They've revealed their cat Lego set, and they've done it in a really fun, ridiculous, stupid way because they just put out a completely garbled nonsense tweet and then showed a picture of this Lego cat sat on a keyboard. And I thought, you know what? Whoever was in marketing behind that advert, give that man a raise, or at least a can of Coke. That was kind of fun. Also from Lego, we're getting this Zelda set, and I need to get back into playing Tears of the Kingdom because I love the world of Zelda. I just found the game to be a little bit overwhelming for me. There's too much to do. I need more focus and direction, can you tell? But I love what Lego have done with this. Just bright, bold, fantastic, colorful. I dig it. It's very expensive, as Lego always is. So I'm not gonna get it because there are toys and action figures that need buying. I mean, granted, there's underwear that needs buying as well, but don't worry, I've got my priorities straight. But if you're a big Lego person, then this Zelda one, this might be for you. I think it looks really, really pretty. Brutal Realm have shared some more preview images of their figures. I was trying to think, what's the, prototype. There you go, that's the word. Prototype for their barbarian warrior type characters.
Well, la-dee-da.
Look at the proportions, the articulation. These look so just big, chunky, roidy magoos.
I like it!
That's what I want to see. And sometimes when figures are a little bit too muscular, you lose some of the articulation, but it looks like Brutal Realm have just found that sweet spot. And the faces look like they got some character and nuance to them as well. I'm very excited. As I mentioned previously, this company has no respect for my wallet or other financial obligations, because they're just like, oh no, you need to spend your money on these upcoming figures. And I'm like, dang it, I think you might be right.
You ready for this?
Up for pre-order on 1/6 kit is the Play Toys 1/6 scale Chun Li figure. This looks stunning. It looks like a silicone body. I think this is one that we covered previously, but in her more traditional costume. And now we've got, I think, Street Fighter 4 attire? I do lose track. But this is an alternate costume Chun Li, so I think it's the same body that they had before, but that's the great thing with all these cloth goods. You can keep the original body and just throw the different costumes on there. This does look amazing, like with the thick athletic kind of physique they've gone for. Totally captures Chun Li with these, but also it does mean that you've got to take some extra care and caution, because with these silicone bodies, they can crack or dry out. So you've got to look after them and make sure that they're not too hot or too cold. You've got to have the temperature right. Apparently here in more humid climates, they don't always fare too well. But if you're willing to take the chance and you can invest, I think it's $173 into this figure, so it ain't cheap. But it's still cheaper than Hot Toys, then this could be a pretty cool Street Fighter collectible. I certainly love the look of these images. I think these are awesome.
The look on your face when you saw him. I would have thought the big bad Batman, scared of his own reflection.
Extreme Toys are doing a bunch of 1/12 scale cloth goods Batman Arkham figures, and they're kicking things off with this Joker reveal, which is kind of a mixed bag. I think that the face likeness from the game, yeah, great, very creepy, very well realized. The cloth goods though, it looks like they may be a bit big. It looks like he might be wearing a suit that's slightly, maybe one size too large for him, like he's got his big brother's hand-me-downs. That's always a very tricky thing with cloth goods, is getting them to fit tight to the body of the figure while maintaining articulation. Mezco is obviously my go-to reference point for that, and they're generally pretty good, but obviously the results can vary from company to company. They've also teased a Batman and an Arkham Knight as well, which obviously, or I assume, won't have so many details or so many issues with cloth goods. But I'm really intrigued to see what these are going to look like in hand. I'm going to keep an eye out for any potential reviews that might come out online, because this looks like an interesting line. I mean, Mezco-style Arkham Knight games? Or, games, figures. You know what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something that looks kind of cool. .52 Toys have shown full pre-order reveal images of their Final Fight figures. I can only remember Mike Hagar, that's the name of the big burly dude with the moustache. He's the mayor. The other two, the names don't spring to mind, but you can see the pictures, so you know what we're getting at here. Honestly, they don't look that exciting to me. I was always more of a Streets of Rage Street Fighter kind of guy, and these don't seem to be as detailed as the Jada Street Fighter figures, but they do have some nice elements there. I love the game over continue faces they've got where they're blowing out the dynamite. That's really fun. So you can see some of the love and nostalgia that have been poured into these. But the general designs, the paintwork, the sculpting, they look a little bit more basic. But still, it's 2024 and we're getting Final Fight action figures. I do kind of dig that. SH Figure Arts have shown off their Portgas Diez figure. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not a One Piece guy, but this actually looks pretty wicked. Just the design of the character looks really awesome. At first I thought, is this like a grown-up version of Luffy? No, I'm guessing a completely different character, but with a similar kind of aesthetic, just more jacked. It's a roidy version of Luffy. So one of these days I might get into One Piece. This set, or this figure, is going to be 9,000 yen, so probably equating to about 60 bucks, give or take. And he's going to be available January of next year. So yeah, still got a little bit of time to wait for him. From CCS Toys, we have this Mazinkaiser figure. Just like with One Piece, I'm not up on my anime, but I know a crazy looking awesome monster creature when I see one, and that's what this is. I mean, he should be awesome. He's going to retail for about $200, but it looks like you get a lot of bang for your buck with this figure. Like I said, no idea what the anime is that it came from, but I just saw all these pretty pictures and information, and I was like, you know what? There are going to be some folks out there who like the look of this thing, and if you do, then you're very welcome. And give me some back history, if you wouldn't mind. What the heck is this thing? Where does it come from, and why should I be tempted to spend my money on it? Because I already am. I don't even know what it is. Super 7 have shown off their Ghost Papa Emeritus figure. I don't know anime? Yeah. I don't know music either. I don't know much. Nonetheless though, it's going to be $55 and should be coming out around about February of next year. I mean, I love the design. Crazy rock and roll Pope? Yeah, that's kind of awesome. No idea who he is though, but if you do know him, then maybe you might want to pick this guy up. Fresh Monkey Fiction, kind of complimenting the G.I. Joe figures. They have announced 2 stretch goals for their Order of the Crimson Moon figures, because they're kind of doing it a bit like a Kickstarter. They've met certain tiers, so now that they've done that, they're releasing more figures. And we got these 2 gents here, both of whom look awesome. Another Wolfman character with as many swap out pieces as you would come to expect from this line, and then this other dude who's got a real Cobra Commander kind of look going on with the mask, and also all of his accessories look really cool as well. I like the idea of kind of doing these stretch goals for a company, because not every company is just this massive conglomerate with unlimited resources. You've got to be a little careful with your financial decisions sometimes. So it's nice that a company can see, oh, we're getting enough support from folks for this line. This is giving us the money we need to put out more good action figures. I think that's a fun way of doing things, and it makes me really happy to see this line doing so well, because every time I see something from it, I'm like, yeah, this is what action figures should be.
They're unstoppable, but we're gonna stop them anyway. Send in the Marines. We're the Space Marines. Drake, Ripley, 8-Bone, Bishop, and I'm Hicks.
And speaking of excited, oh my goodness, the final trailer for Alien Romulus is out, and I haven't watched it because I don't want to see anything else. Because one of the biggest problems with movie trailers these days is that it shows you all the best parts of the movie, and then you pay your $20 and go there and watch it, and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this already. That's why I've been avoiding Wolverine and Deadpool TV spots and things like that, like the plague. I don't want to see anything else. Because also, Alien Romulus, I'm sold. You don't need to sell me on this movie. The same creative team as the modern Evil Dead movies? Yeah. Those are visceral, brutal, bloody, nasty horror movies. And it looks like this Alien is going to be exactly that. Going not back to the franchise roots, because that was more suspense type horror. This looks like it's going to be nasty and mean-spirited. And sometimes, look, I try to carry a lot of love and life in my life. Therefore, I gotta get my dark impulses out somehow. And that means watching the worst horror movies you can imagine. Yeah. It's kind of like Sabretooth, you know. He had Birdie that kind of like, calmed down the evil impulses. Yeah, I've got splatter movies. It all works. So yeah, Alien Romulus, honestly, cannot wait.
Let's make it epic.
This is an exciting one that just came out of nowhere. But for me, I was like, oh, fantastic. Yakuza, Like a Dragon, is getting a Netflix TV show. So I had no idea until this announcement came out. And they were like, oh yeah, just one more thing. They Columboed us. They said, oh, it's dropping at the end of this year. The series is going to come out in 2 lots of 3 episodes, one in October and one in November. And the Yakuza series is so close to my heart because I got into it after I left Japan the first time, and like the pandemic happened, and I was thinking, am I ever going to go back to my home away from home? And the Yakuza games, they're actually set in a fictional town called Kamurocho, which is modeled after Osaka. Like that, I'm playing the game and I'm following showing my hometown. Like, this is all perfectly recreated with the Lawsons and the Family Marts and the pachinko parlors. It was such a wonderful nostalgia trip. I adore those games. If you're not familiar with them, think GTA, but with Yakuza. So much fun, wacky, bonkers, and awesome. So a TV show based on these characters, set in this world? Absolutely. I'm so excited for this.
So, who would like to start?
In MCUs now, Giancarlo Esposito has been cast in Captain America 4. I just said Captain America 4 because my brain just went, is it New World Order? Is it, what's it called? Is it New World Order? It's not. It sure as heck isn't Serpent Society. They edited everything out of that. This movie is starting to feel like a bit of a Frankenstein's monster. But if there's one man who can hold it all together, it is Giancarlo Esposito, who has a track record of just being a boss on screen. From Gus Fring to Dewberry in The Mandalorian. I forget his name as well. But I do love the actor. I think he's phenomenal. And he's playing a villain. And he's also said that there's going to be a TV show that he's attached to as well. Not necessarily his character's TV show, but he is going to be appearing in one. So this raises a huge bunch of questions, the only main one being, who is he? So I'm about to show you a behind-the-scenes picture. Okay, so if you don't want to see what he's wearing in the Captain America movie, then you can skip on to the next section now. Okay, but it's really not too much of a spoiler. You're going to see it in trailers and merchandise probably regardless. But nonetheless, here it is. So you can see he's wearing kind of a militaristic looking gear. At first, when he was announced, I thought, oh, Dr. Doom or something like that. This doesn't look Dr. Doomy. This looks more like a human sort of character. So I'm thinking maybe, yeah, a militant type person. Someone threw out the name Stryker. I mean, maybe they might want to start hinting at some mutant type stories. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that he'll probably be a bright spark in the movie. Man, if he has a scene or 2 or 3 with Harrison Ford, that would be a meeting of great sort of pillars of acting chops, as long as Harrison Ford is bringing his A game. You know, he does have a tendency to kind of sleepwalk through things when he's not that fussed about stuff. But if they're both on top form, that could be a lot of fun to see. So, all right, Captain America 4, your move, pal. Let's see what you got.
Miss Croft, danger is your friend.
And sticking with the MCU, kind of, October 10th, we'll see Tomb Raider, the animated show, debut on Netflix with Hayley Atwell, Captain Carter, providing the voice, and that's perfect. I didn't know she was doing that, and then as soon as I read that that was her, I just heard her voice in my head and went, yep, that's Lara Croft. Perfect. And also, looking at the teaser trailer, animation looks super pretty, man. It really does. I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. This is apparently set after the new trilogy that came out over the last, 10, 15 years. I shudder to think how long it's been, actually. But yeah, this is modern Tomb Raider set after that trilogy. And honestly, Netflix have such a great track record with their animated projects, with Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Blue-Eyed Samurai. Like, the bar is high. So if this can meet those kinds of standards, we could have another gem on our hands. Might have to go raiding a tomb for it. Today's cosplay artist is Clau Ballerinita. Whew. That was not an easy word for me to wrap my tongue around, but she does some fantastic cosplay. She's a professional dancer as well, so she's got the gymnastic kind of chops and physique to pull off these different superhuman characters. Really cool. Makes all the costumes herself as well by the looks of things. Puts in all the work, and the results are some awesome cosplays. Go check her out. She's doing fantastic work. Now this is definitely some good news. Well, it's kind of good news. It involves a knife attack. If you don't know the story, you've got to think, where the heck am I going here? This is an article from IGN. It says, a man stopped a knife attack, saying that his anime hero would have done the same. Folks, if there was a model behavior award, it would go to this guy. The IGN article went on to say, a Taiwanese man helped stop a knife attack because that's what his anime hero, Himmel from Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, would do. I'm not familiar with that anime. Nonetheless though, the sentiment seems good. He also said he hopes his actions and pride as an otaku will help improve public perception of those who identify as such. Mysterious anime hero, whoever you are in the world, that's what we call displaying model behavior. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. What did you think about the items covered? Comment below. Let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta join the 6-1 clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step beyond in supporting the channel, well, got a little bit of extra news for you. So you can get yourself a YouTube channel membership, and doing that allows you to watch all of the archived videos in the members section. But I'm making a bit of a change, because I used to do things where it was the live streams were just for the channel members and stuff, and honestly, I'm a terrible businessman, because I felt really bad about doing that. I don't like taking stuff away from people. So the live streams are for everyone. so the commenting and joining in the chat, that's all for everyone to enjoy. What I will do though is after a week, I'll take the videos off the regular channel and just put them in the members section, not to withhold anything from people who aren't members, but just because the YouTube experts, they do say that if you clutter up your page with too many live streams, people who don't like live streams won't bother looking at your other videos. So it's better to just put them in a separate section. So you've got a week after every live stream to go back and watch it and well, you can't be a part of it. You can't go back in time and join in the chat, but you know what I'm saying. And then after a week, then they go in the members section just so that they don't clog up the rest of the channel with all that beautiful evergreen content like As Told by Toys and all that other good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Big time.